Unleash, whole click dope with the east side breed. Everybody wanna when I reach my peak, cause the bars and the hooks and the beats by me. Say more y'all hate than how do we write. If this wrong, I don't wanna be right. Pits in the booth and I gotta mean right. Now the money looking like I hit the lottery twice. Ain't nobody got time for.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's Steven from Southern Arboreals. So we're gonna be doing a introduction video on the green tree monitor, Varanus persinus. Yeah, that's the scientific name. This is a good intermediate tree monitor to get into. They grow 2.5 to 3 feet. This guy we picked up from the local pet store down the street, or local reptile store. Not sure if he was sold as captive bred, but because I picked him up from the pet store and then there's no lineage on him, he could be an import. As you can see, he's sitting right there on his log in the back. He's still getting used to the presence of people in the room. When I first got him, he would hide in the log all the time. So for him to be sitting out on his cork round this way, him getting used to his environment, he can see the whole entire reptile room. He sees me working around, taking care of the crested geckos and the green tree pythons. So he's starting to get used to me and me walking around. Usually, as soon as I would come in the room, he would dip out, go hide in his log. But as you can see, he's just chilling right there, checking me out. These are an arboreal species of green tree monitor from New Guinea and other adjacent islands. There's other tree monitors, but we're going to be covering the green tree monitor. People also call them emerald tree monitors. So let's go ahead and get into some facts about these green tree monitors. So they say that the lifespan on these green tree monitors can be 10 plus years. I'm going to be pulling the information from a care sheet from Reptile Raptures. They actually breed green tree monitors and blue tree monitors and some other tree monitors that I believe will basically just go off of their care sheet and translate it into this video. So I want to give the credit to Reptile Rapture for all the great information that they have displayed on their website. I'll also put a link in the description below of Reptile Rapture's website and their care sheet section, so you can go ahead and look over that for yourself. So if you're going to be housing a green tree monitor, as juveniles you can keep them in 18 by 18 by 36s. Because they are an arboreal species of monitor, they're going to need the height of the enclosure. And as adults, they say like a 4 foot long by 2 foot wide by 4 foot tall for an established adult. That gives them range to go back and forth. You want there to be like a thermal gradient, a hot spot on one end, place that they can escape to go to a cooler end so they can go to the bottom. Right now this is his temporary enclosure. We do have him in a paludarium zoo med 18 by 18 by 30. So eventually we'll be upgrading this tree monitor to a bigger enclosure. One of the substrates that I use for the green tree monitor is a mixture of you could use like cypress mulch or like peat moss, something for them to dig in, but give the soil some structure so it can hold humidity. They do come from a humid environment, so you'll want to keep their humidity at 80% or higher. I just mist this green tree monitor down once or twice a day, depending. I like to soak the bedding, soak the logs, soak the sides of the enclosure so he can lick up the water droplets, switch out the water bowl once a day. I do feed him every day. Sometimes I'll skip a day if I feed him some big dubias. And once a week I will feed him pinkies. But that should be like a once a week thing. They also say you can let them eat eggs and things like that. Remember that these green tree monitors do come from a tropical environment, so you're going to want to keep their basking area. It says 95 to 100, which the bulbs that I have, his basking spot's around 93. I don't have a temp gun, but I put a probe there and it was about 93. And then I have that on a timer with a full spectrum bulb, and I also have a full spectrum lighting strip in there. It's one of the UVB 5.0 fluorescent bulbs. So you'll want to make sure that you got full spectrum lighting for your green tree monitors. Your night temps, they can be dropped down to about 78 degrees. That should be fine, because you got to think in the wild that the temperatures are going to, you know, start to cool off at night. Not as much, but it'll get into like the high 70s probably in their natural environment. So 78 should probably be the lowest temperature you'll want to drop them at nighttime for your nighttime temps. Going back to the subject of humidity, make sure that you provide a good sized water dish. This can help with the humidity besides misting and soaking the bedding down to retain moisture. Remember that a soaking wet enclosure isn't a humid enclosure, so you'll want to make sure that you got your humidity down right. I see a lot of people use PVC enclosures. I use PVC enclosures for my green tree pythons. PVC enclosures do hold pretty good humidity. You'll still want to make sure that you have ventilation if you go the PVC route. With glass enclosures, they do hold humidity. He is in the Paludarium Zoomed skyscraper. But like I said, temporary enclosure. So basically he's gonna eventually be moved into a PVC enclosure where we can monitor those levels of humidity a lot better. Feeding your green tree monitors, they are insectivores, so make sure that you're feeding them a good supply of insects, dubia roaches, crickets. They even say the grasshoppers that you can feed them. I haven't had any luck on finding any of the grasshoppers unless I take them from outside, but I don't want to do that just in case. They do sell hornworms. You can feed them hornworms, so we'll say they even eat mealworms, but I have a dubia colony, so I like to feed them crickets and dubias, and then we'll do pinkies once a week. That's the main diet that I have them on right now. So, but there are other options for diet-wise that you can do with these green tree monitors. Temperament on these green tree monitors is pretty nice, actually. Green tree monitors, they don't bite. I've never seen one that bites. Any of the videos that I've watched, I've never seen a green tree monitor that bites. If anything, when you rush into it and you try to pick them up and handle them when you're going through the taming process, they'll claw you up pretty good because they are an arboreal species and they do have very sharp claws. My hands do get scraped up, but they heal pretty fast, so I don't have any scratches right now to show you. But the first mistake I made when I first got him was, instead of letting him settle in long enough, I tried to take him out and like let him roam around the reptile room to try to gain his trust, but I think more than anything it freaked him out. So what I decided to do was just leave him alone. Basically let them come to you. They are intelligent lizards, so they are checking you out and they're wondering what you're doing. Eventually, as they get comfortable with you and they get comfortable with you walking around your reptile room and working around them, and they know that you're not going to eat them and that you're not a threat, sometimes eventually they'll start coming up to the door because they're like, okay, it's food time. I'm ready to eat. So that's cool. And I think he's taken off. Oh no, he's climbing around. So yeah, green tree monitors. Then when I would offer food, he would come out as soon as I left the room to snag some dubias out of his feeding dish or grab the pinkies that I had set on the cork ground right outside where he likes to hang out or hide. So they are a good starter monitor, well, it's an intermediate monitor. So I've had Savannah monitors before in the past, so I kind of know something about monitors, even though they're not Savannah monitors, I know that. But yeah, so I think they make a really good arboreal species if you're looking to get into green tree monitors. The size in comparison is very nice. 2.5 to 3 feet. That's not bad for a monitor species, so you don't have to worry about them getting super large. What's cool is they have a little curly tail right there. If you can see his little curly tail on the back. Oh, yep. See, he does that. So if you he's done pretty good for this whole video, but he's probably ready to jet and go inside of his hole. So if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below. Let me know what you think. Yeah, so that's the introduction to the green tree monitor. Hopefully this information helped you out, and as always, be cool, stay in school, and just rock and roll till you can't rock and roll no more. Later.
Hi-ho!